Every man is born chasing something he can never truly catch. He chases the perfect woman, the perfect relationship, the perfect love story that movies and society have promised him. He fights for it, sacrifices for it, builds his identity around it, and then one day he wakes up alone, drained, confused, and angry, wondering how it all went wrong. But the truth isn't new. It's centuries old. A philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, saw this coming long before dating apps, long before modern love, long before men started losing themselves trying to please women. He exposed the mechanism behind desire itself, the illusion that turns men into servants of biology, slaves of their own emotions, and blind followers of nature's cruelest joke. What Schopenhauer uncovered was so brutal that even today most men would rather live in denial than face it. Schopenhauer believed that behind every romantic gesture, every crush, every heartbreak lies one single force: the will to life. Nature doesn't care about happiness. It cares about continuation, about genes, bloodlines, survival. That's why love feels spiritual but behaves biological. It's not designed to make you whole. It's designed to make you reproduce. When you meet a woman and feel that instant spark, that magnetic pull that feels divine, it's not your heart speaking. It's thousands of years of evolution whispering, "She's fertile, she's strong, your DNA fits hers." It's chemistry pretending to be destiny. And when she feels drawn to a man of confidence, ambition, or status, it's not vanity, it's instinct. Love is the packaging. Reproduction is the product. Schopenhauer saw this long before we had words like hypergamy or alpha male. He understood that desire is a form of manipulation, not between men and women, but between humans and nature itself. Modern men have been raised on fairy tales not from books, but from screens. They believe love is sacred, eternal, unconditional. But Schopenhauer said every lover deceives himself, because what we call love is often the will of the species disguised as personal happiness. That's why the same fire that makes you fall for her will one day burn you out. Romantic love makes promises that biology cannot keep. She says she'll love you forever, but her body doesn't make contracts. It makes calculations. And when those calculations change, when your ambition fades, your energy dulls, or your resources decline, nature rewrites the script. What was once passion becomes obligation. What was once attraction becomes resentment. That's not betrayal, that's the system working exactly as designed. To Schopenhauer, love was war. Not a war between men and women, but a biological chess game where each side plays to survive. Men seek youth, beauty, fertility, signs of reproduction. Women seek dominance, stability, and power, signs of protection. Neither side is evil. Both are executing an ancient code written in their blood. But the cruel part is that the more aware you become of the game, the less romantic it feels. You realize that chemistry isn't magic, it's math. Relationships are rarely about love, they're about leverage. Who has more options? Who has more control? Who has more to lose? And in this game, weakness isn't forgiven. The man who leads with emotion will be led by emotion. The man who puts a woman above himself will eventually fall beneath her expectations. Schopenhauer said a man can be himself only so long as he is alone, because the moment he makes love his purpose, he loses his freedom. Most men get blindsided because they think dominance comes from strength, muscles, money, or words. But women don't fight for power the same way men do. Schopenhauer observed that women rule through perception. They don't conquer with violence, they conquer with influence. Their greatest weapon is emotional intelligence. They read tone, posture, silence, everything men ignore. Where a man argues, a woman implies. Where a man demands, a woman suggests. It's not manipulation, it's evolution. It's how the physically weaker sex learned to control the physically stronger one. And in today's world, with social media turning attention into currency, that soft power has become unstoppable. Every like, every DM, every compliment feeds an economy where women trade beauty for attention and men trade attention for illusion. Most men are bankrupt before they even realize they're playing. Society tells you men and women are equal in every way, but equality is a moral idea, not a biological one. Men and women are not equal in desire, in priorities, or in incentives, and pretending otherwise is why most relationships fail. Women are born valuable. Youth and beauty give them immediate leverage. Men must build their value through struggle, ambition, and achievement. That's why a 25-year-old woman and a 40-year-old man can have the same social power, different timelines, same currency. Schopenhauer didn't romanticize this difference. He simply accepted it. And that's the first step to freedom, accepting the unfairness of nature. You can complain about it, or you can conquer it. While society preaches emotional equality, biology is still playing chess, and every move you make in ignorance costs you respect, power, and peace. The modern man is lost. He's been taught to suppress his instincts, soften his edges, and apologize for his masculinity. He's told that ambition is toxic, confidence is arrogance, and leadership is control. But Schopenhauer warned that every man takes the limits of his own vision for the limits of the world. The weak man sees the world as hostile because he has no internal foundation. He seeks meaning through women and loses it through disappointment. He mistakes approval for love and confuses comfort with purpose. And when she leaves, he breaks, not because she betrayed him, but because he built his identity around her validation. A man without purpose is a man without gravity, and a man without gravity drifts into submission. Schopenhauer's antidote was detachment. He believed true freedom comes when you stop expecting the world to make you happy, because expectation is the root of suffering. When you no longer chase women for validation, you start attracting them effortlessly. When you no longer need approval, you gain respect. Detachment doesn't mean apathy, it means clarity, seeing people, not projections, loving without losing yourself. It's what he called the liberation of the will, freedom from the compulsion to seek happiness outside yourself. That's the real awakening, not bitterness, but sovereignty, the ability to walk alone and feel whole. So what does a man do once he wakes up from the illusion? He rebuilds. He becomes the grounded man, the one who leads himself first. He invests in 3 currencies: discipline, because self-control is the highest form of power; purpose, because a man without mission will always orbit someone else's; and presence, because true strength doesn't shout, it radiates. When a man has these, women can sense it. They can feel it in his silence, his posture, his direction. He doesn't beg for love. He attracts it, not because he manipulates, but because he no longer needs. And that's the paradox. The less you chase, the more you draw in. The less you need, the more valuable you become. Schopenhauer said to desire immortality is to desire the perpetuation of a great mistake. Stop trying to immortalize your emotions. Live with purpose, not passion. Love isn't the enemy. Illusion is. Schopenhauer didn't want men to reject women. He wanted them to understand them, to see through the mask of biology and find peace in reality. Because once you understand the game, you stop reacting to every emotion, every text, every fleeting interest. You stop building your happiness on her validation. You begin to see patterns that the average man is blind to. Why she tests you, why she withdraws affection, why she loses interest when you become too available. You see the choreography of desire and understand your place not as a pawn, but as a player. Modern women operate in an arena that amplifies their natural leverage. They live in a world where beauty is broadcasted, where attention is traded like currency, and where social proof dictates desirability. The average man is constantly pouring his energy into validation that is never guaranteed. He texts, he pays, he sacrifices, all while forgetting that the real power lies in self-mastery, not in approval. Women are naturally opportunistic, not because they are cruel, but because survival rewards the clever, and men, unaware of the rules, endlessly work to prove their worth to someone who doesn't owe them anything. The modern man's trap is deep. He confuses compliance for affection. He believes availability is intimacy. He believes consistency is loyalty. He believes investment is security. But Schopenhauer recognized that emotional attachment is conditional. A woman is drawn to strength and independence because they are rare, because they signal competence and value. To be needed is not to be loved. To be pursued, admired, and respected is to hold your place in the biological hierarchy. Weakness is ignored, dependence is rejected, and devotion is often met with indifference. The solution is paradoxical. Detach, but don't withdraw focus on self-mastery, but do not become cold. Pursue purpose, but let women admire from the sidelines. Build wealth, discipline, and intellect to create a life that is magnetic in its own right. The more a man immerses himself in building his vision, the less vulnerable he becomes to rejection, the more resilient he is to disappointment, and the more authentic his attraction becomes. This is not manipulation. This is alignment with reality. The most dangerous illusions men carry are not about women. They are about themselves. Men believe that validation, attention, or love from a woman can complete them. They think happiness depends on her choice. Schopenhauer's ultimate teaching: happiness comes from within. True freedom is realized when you understand that no one can give you meaning or value. When a man internalizes this truth, he becomes untouchable. Women are drawn to him because he radiates purpose, not because he seeks attention. He commands presence, not because he controls her, but because he commands himself. Every man who wakes up to this understands that life is a game played on two levels. The biological and the personal women are part of the first level. Purpose and mastery are the second. The first can be chaotic, unpredictable, and emotional. The second is entirely under your control. The man who conquers the second automatically dominates the first, without chasing, without begging, without sacrificing his core self. He is free, he is sovereign, he is magnetic, and it goes even deeper. Schopenhauer also warned that men often underestimate the illusion of choice. Women are trained by biology and society to create scarcity. Every decision, every flirtation, every smile is measured, evaluated, and calculated, even unconsciously. Men think they are making free choices, but in reality, they are often responding to subtle cues, to micro-expressions, to the game itself. Every interaction contains tests: how you respond, how much you value yourself, how easily you bend to desire. These are invisible, almost imperceptible power dynamics, yet they define attraction. To survive and to thrive, a man must master self-sovereignty, the inner game that nobody can take away. He must understand that attention is fleeting, that affection is conditional, and that emotional stability is earned only from within. The moment a man anchors his happiness to a woman, he becomes reactive, dependent, and predictable. The moment he anchors his happiness to purpose, discipline, and mastery, he becomes untouchable, magnetic, and unstoppable. If this message disturbed you, good. It means you're waking up. The next time you look for love, ask yourself, am I seeking connection, or am I escaping from my own inadequacies? Because the moment you stop running from solitude, you stop running from strength. Schopenhauer didn't give men a rule book, he gave them a mirror, and the man who dares to look into it will never chase illusions again. He will build, he will master, he will attract, and he will walk through life untouchable, free, and unshakable. Love can inspire you, but purpose will define you. True power doesn't come from conquest, it comes from mastery of self, and mastery of self makes every other battle irrelevant.